Welcome to the Bone and Joint Playbook with Dr. John Urse, where we explore an extensive range of orthopedic topics and insights. Our goal is to help you understand the available orthopedic options and treatments available, and hopefully give you some answers to questions you might have. We want to thank our following sponsors.
Ted's Authentic Greek Salad Dressing and Marinade. It's healthy, gluten-free, and delicious. You can find Ted's in Dayton, Ohio at Dorothy Lane Markets, Health Foods Unlimited, and Dots Markets. That's Ted's Authentic Greek Dressing and Marinade. Thanks, Ted.
We would also like to thank
Stifel's GWR Group combines more than 65 years of experience helping high net worth clients consolidate, coordinate, and simplify their wealth planning strategies. The group has access to a full suite of resources to serve all of your financial needs. Email gwrgroup@stifel.com or call 937-353-2863 to speak to Guy, Brad, or Jeff Richardson. Stifel, Nicholas & Company, Incorporated.
Hey, all right, Dr. Urse, let's get into this situation here. So you see a lot of patients throughout the week, and your partners see a lot of patients throughout the week that may have fallen. And you told me something earlier. There's something about seat belts. What is that? Can you repeat that again?
Well, I think it's kind of like opening the book without the title. I think I'd like to call this, May You Never Know What You Prevent, Don't Fall. Because if you want to say, how am I going to live longer? If you're under 35 to 45 years old, the number one thing you can do to not die is wear a seatbelt.
Yeah, I agree.
If you're over 60, the number one thing you can do to not die is probably not fall. And there are so many contributing factors to that. We're going to look at some of those today and see if we can prevent that so we don't have to deal with the consequences of the fall.
So let me ask you a question. Why over 60? What happens over 60 when you fall? It's not quite as good as when you were 50 or 45.
We're getting older.
What does that mean? What does that mean to our bones?
Your muscles get a little less active. They get a little less strong. Perhaps we do less exercise. Perhaps we gain some weight. Perhaps our diets, our habits, our balance. We're influenced by medicines we take, conditions we get, such as diabetes or heart issues. There are illnesses, COVID and viral illnesses, and things where people have come through a traumatic car accident and they're just not as strong as they were. So we have to kind of tie in all the loose ends that contribute to us being able to go through our normal days without falling.
Right.
And there's things we control and some things we don't know are contributing to it. And we'll try and touch on some of those.
How many patients a week do you guys think you see from falls? If you had to guess.
I would think it's easily 10 to 15% of people in orthopedic practice have had a fall or an injury. And you got to include sports activities and accidents and and general work injuries and just icy weather. Now, if you're in the equator, you're not worrying about that. But, 6 months a year, the orthopedic surgeons are out sweeping salt off the sidewalks to drum up business. So, there's a lot of people that can't walk on ice and certainly can't drive on ice. There's a lot of people who can't drive on regular pavement either. But I think there's a lot of factors that are outside our control, and then there's some in our control.
So if that's true, you're seeing 10 to 15% of people. That means 10 to 15% of your patients, this is preventable. Most likely it's preventable.
A lot of it's preventable. And it's not just preventable for that patient, it's preventable for their caregivers. Like if you're we spend 18 years living with our parents. We spend 19 years taking care of our parents.
Yeah.
So worldwide, many cultures do that. We can't all afford fancy nursing homes or care facilities. So if we're going to take care of someone, we don't want them to fall and have more problems for us trying to take care of them with their aging problems they already have. So you're compounding not only their problems, but your own problems by not looking at some things we'll talk about today.
So let me quickly tell you, and you already know the story, but my father-in-law is now living with us. He's 95. And he fell.
It's a tribute to you, by the way, taking care of him.
Of course. Well, thank you very much. He fell at his house about 2.5 years ago. He was trying to go for a walk down the sidewalk with a walker, and he tripped on a rug in the garage and ended up laying there in the garage for several minutes before somebody discovered him. And at that point, he got hip replacement, and he is living with us now. We should have been better prepared for that. We weren't. We caught ourselves in kind of a, oh my God, what do we do situation.
That's reactive instead of proactive.
Correct. So let's go through some of the things that maybe folks could learn from this podcast that would help them maybe be more reactive versus proactive.
Give them a quiz.
Proactive versus
Ask
reactive.
them 2 options.
All right.
Wait till something happens and react.
That's what we did. We waited till something happened.
Or, well, I've had a few stumbles. I didn't quite fall. I'm not sure I need to worry about anything. Or maybe I could do a visual check of my house, look for throw rugs, dog leashes, like loose steps, poor lighting outside at night. And then, like one weekend, I'm going to go in, and even if I'm tired and I've been working, I'm going to make my house less hazardous for me and people around me. That's easy to do. It's proactive, and it's not difficult. There are just many things. Grab bars by a shower, by a toilet, even in a hallway.
Right.
Look at your circumstances of where you sleep, where you have to walk, how easy it is to get in and out of a house. The ramps that you see that you think you need a $200,000 contractor to put in, these are all commercially available on most of the distribution companies. You can get a ramp for any entrance. It's easy to walk up a ramp, much easier to get accessible walkers or little wheelchairs or even a cane or a crutch, or just to walk without having to deal with steps. Like, put your laundry upstairs. Why take your dirty clothes off, carry them downstairs to the basement, down 15 steps in a grungy basement, wash them, and then schlep them back upstairs and put them up? My mom always said, have your laundry room upstairs. Put your dirty clothes in there, clean them, put them in your drawer. It's really simple stuff.
So one of the things that I think is probably, I would consider one of the main causes to this discussion right here is something called pride. You're too proud to ask for help. You're too proud. You think you can still do things. I still think I can get on a ladder, and I tell you what, I will never get on another ladder again.
Good answer. How many ladder safety classes have you been to?
Is there such thing as a ladder safety class?
No, and nobody's ever been to one, except the contractors. They actually know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying those are things. We had a talk on how to, things you'd never want to do with a joint replacement to make sure you didn't fall or break a bone around it.
Right.
One of them was climbing ladders. I mean, it's just not worth the trauma and the potential damage to go get a leaf out of a gutter, pay some kid to go do it, or let the gutter fall off. Who cares? I mean, it's not good for you to fall and limp the rest of your life. I'd like to look at things we also can control outside of the physical hazards in the house.
So throw rugs. Let's go through the physical hazards. Throw rugs.
Dog and pet leashes. They're the little dogs, especially little animals, cats. People trip over small animals. They don't see them.
Right.
And they come running out to see mommy in the driveway, and mommy falls and hits the pavement. So you have to be careful around animals. Nobody's going to trip over a Great Dane. They're pretty hard to miss. So you want to be careful with animals that see other animals. You're walking your dog, another dog sees it, and all of a sudden it pulls your leash.
Yeah.
You fall and break your arm.
It helped my wife just a while back. Yeah.
Simple things like throw rugs, ramps, grab bars, good lighting outside, inside, any place you aren't sure where you're going down a step. Know how many steps you have. Have railings. I mean, it sounds silly, but these are common sense things. Think about reaching for things. Like if you can get a grabber that will take something over there and not have you reach up on a shelf. Oh, I can step on this little 2-step ladder. A buddy of mine who I went to medical school with got up on a 2-step ladder to change a light bulb, fell, broke his heel bone on one side and fractured his femur. It's your biggest bone in your body, in your thigh.
2-step
on his
ladder.
other leg. He was out of work 6 months as a plastic surgeon. And that's just, I mean, he's my age. He went to school. I went to school with him. It's just he couldn't reach what he needed. And, again, it's a little step stool, but anything you're doing out of the ordinary that can prevent a fall is a smart idea. This is a gait belt. So you put this around, mom or dad or anybody, and it has it's like a regular belt, only it lets somebody hold the patient on one side. You hold their arm, hold the belt, you walk with them. If they stumble, you've got them. You're holding on to them. I took care of a lady today who fell in a parking lot going into a building, and she was laying on the pavement and couldn't move. I mean, there was nothing to even grab. I mean, she was 300 pounds. It didn't help. But the ideas that have evolved are very simple ideas that you can incorporate in your home.
So one of the things I do want to advise folks, if your wife is walking the dog and you're walking with her and she's holding the leash and the dog takes off and pulls her forward and she falls, don't laugh.
Smart move.
I didn't know that
There
at the time.
there is a joke now, because you normally ask me for one, but you reminded me of it.
Okay.
The difference between your wife and a dog, you know what it is?
Oh, my God.
If you put them both in a trunk,
Oh, my God.
when you open the trunk, the dog still likes you. All right, move on.
All right, so we're going back to things that you should do to prevent falls. We talk rugs, ladders, things like that. What about as you get older? I find my balance isn't as what it used to be.
Yeah, and balance is affected by a list of things as long as your arm. Medicines, inner ear problems with what's called your balance and your equilibrium. There are eye disorders, different blurred vision. It's affected by blood pressure, heart rate. It can be affected by blood sugar.
Yeah.
Simple things that, and that's not just balance, but it also has to do with your ability to be awake or faint. Again, we talked about a low heart rate, a fast heart rate, atrial fib, or a rapid heart rate can also make you feel dizzy and lightheaded, and all of a sudden you're swooning. So the key is try to get stable, sit down, steady yourself, try not to go down hard, and find out why you're bad. If you know your blood sugar goes low at times, keep a candy bar in your pocket. Keep a glucose monitor if you're a diabetic.
Yeah.
You can also wear these monitors. Smartwatches have these. Patients, and like perhaps your father-in-law could have had a monitor on his necklace.
He does. He has one now.
And it's a fall monitor. It's a panic button.
Yep.
It lets somebody come and help him. If you're by yourself, you're in trouble.
Yep.
You can look at bathtubs and see if you can step over it or not, or make it more accessible with a walk-in shower with a seat. We'll show you some pictures of those. So it's just, and a lot of the insurances pay for these updates for your house. You think, well, I don't want to have to buy this and this. Tell your health care provider to write a prescription. I'm going to do this at my house, so you don't have to pay for me to go to a nursing home and pay them to do it for me. I'll just trick my house up. It's a medical supply, just like a catheter for your bladder. It's needed for your condition. So if you have to put in grab bars or have them installed, make sure you get good ones. Don't get the suction cup ones that fall off.
Yeah, I got one of those on a shower. Probably
Yeah, I mean, just spend a nickel on the things that it's going to pay huge rewards in what you prevent. That's the whole idea of medicine. May you never know what you prevent. Nobody wants to know what it's like to get a heart attack. I mean,
so can I ask a quick question? If you think you're going to fall, right? And there's some situations where you know you're certain. Is it better to fall backwards or fall forwards?
You don't want to hit your head either way.
Okay.
If you can try to sit, that's better. Some people will bend down at the knees, but main thing would be maybe get against a wall, steady your back against the wall, and just kind of try to sit down. That's the best if you're near any buildings or something. And obviously loosen anything around your neck. Make sure there's nothing, that's obstructing your airway. And look for help. I mean, there are universal signs of help me or something. Do something to look for help or see where you are. Have your phone, hit something. But, there's, a lot of these are sudden, and they happen quickly. You stumble and fall, you stumble and fall.
Well, I have two.
If you had to land, I mean, honestly, some people would say to try to land on your shoulder.
So
it's a little better.
side.
The natural tendency is called a foosh.
Yeah.
It's called FOOSH, a fall on an outstretched hand. That's why there's so many wrist fractures, because you instinctively put your hand out.
Oh, yeah.
But if your heart rate goes to 25 and you have blood to your head, you're going to go boom, and you're going to break your glasses and nose, because you're not even going to have time to stop. So you're not going to even put your hand out. So those cases are where you do the heart monitoring, you check a blood sugar, check heart rates, look for things that are very fixable, that are non-mechanical. It's not your new shoes, it's not the linoleum, it's smooth. You didn't trip on a bad, tile installer guy. Don't blame him.
Well, long story short, I was about 4 years ago, I guess it's been now. I for some reason I was getting out of bed. I didn't feel great. I passed out. My head went into the wall. I ended up with 2 rods, 4 screws, and a lot of heartache for the next 6 months, and it still hurts. So yeah, you definitely don't want to fall.
That's right. So let's talk about some really simple, rounded up here answers. Okay. It's really simple. If I could give you 5 things to do that are marching orders.
I'm going to write them down.
Stay active and exercise. Don't just be a couch potato. If you have a meal, get up, take a short walk with or without your dog. But doing a couple things, walking, keeping your muscles engaged, load your bones. Bones stay strong with load forcing. And even if you're on a little Stairmaster, a little treadmill, walking outside, weather permitting, not on ice, you can do simple things. You can just hold a chair, stand on one leg for a minute, stand on the other leg. You're getting balance. You're getting what's called, they call it your awareness or your proprioception of your surroundings. Things like Tai Chi are very small, purposeful movements. They're very good for balance.
Yeah.
Very good for your meditation, for relaxing. Some people do yoga. Some people do Pilates. There are simple things that keep motion as lotion. Okay, so whatever you like. Swimming is great. You have 25% of your force in water that you have in air, and you think, well, I don't swim. Well, go to the YMCA or someplace and go in the shallow end and just walk, and you can move your knees and your shoulders, and just the social contact is good.
Yeah,
engaging with people, being outside, and staying active.
So we're really targeting the people over 65
but this is what
crowd, right?
Yeah, this is what you want to do in your 50s and 60s.
Okay.
So that your 70s and 80s aren't downward decline decades.
Sure.
You don't want to just survive your 70s and 80s. You want to be more vibrant. You want to be balanced, coordinated, strong, doing the things you like. Some people do simple, like heel and toe walking. Some people stand in, religious services and weddings, and you could just stand on one leg and balance while you're being bored by some guy's sermon. So there's a lot of ways to look at, and the internet is full of all these home exercise programs. You can get them on your phone. You can get them on YouTube. You can get them on
If you had to pick just one exercise, you could only do one the rest of your life, what's that exercise?
I would tell people in this age group, use a chair. Just like stand with a chair and hold the side. And I would sit in the chair and I would stand up and sit down. I'd stand up and sit down. I'd lift a leg. I'd stand, hold the arms, lift a leg. I would work on just keeping some rotation. You want to keep your neck flexible, your legs flexible, keep your muscles toned. You don't have to lift weights like Arnold Schwarzenegger. You just need to stay active, and that will pay huge dividends into the future. Certainly aerobics are good. You don't need a ton of exercise, but you need regular exercise. So if you can do 30 minutes, 3 to 4 times a week, it's just with, the habits are the things that are hard to maintain, but they pay huge dividends later, and they keep you moving. They keep you golfing, bowling, playing pickleball, doing things that you think you can do that your healthcare provider thinks you should do. But, engage your people around you. And there's a lot of support. I mean, there's Silver Sneakers things in the United States where Medicare pays for you to go stay in shape at the YMCA or stay. They want you. Insurances want you to be healthy. They don't want to pay for your misery. They want to charge you huge premiums and hope you don't need to use their services. So, there's a big old world out there. AI is really good. We're going to do a talk on AI and how artificial intelligence you could just say, make me an exercise program for my 6th or 7th decade of life that's easy to follow. Now make one a little more challenging in a few months.
Sure.
And you'd be surprised. It's like, well, I didn't think of that. I mean, I hate to say it, but I cheat and use it for some of my outlines for these podcasts. And there's always a couple ideas you don't think about that the world's got. It's got a lot more intelligence than we do.
So just so you know, I am not AI generated.
But you can spell it.
I can spell AI. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions. You give me a rating of 1 to 10, right?
Okay.
10 being great for you, 1 being bad for you. All right. Cleaning your gutters.
Bad for you, good for the gutters. Well, it is. It's just stupid.
Yeah.
It is probably the only thing dumber than that is deer stands where you climb up 16 feet with a bottle of whiskey and sit up there, get drunk, and fall out of a deer stand 16 feet and break your pelvis trying to shoot Bambi. All you need is a camera on the trail, sit at home. That deer is always on trail number 4 at 5:30. Walk out there at 5:20 and go shoot that poor thing if that's what you want to do. But
all right, so
stay out of gutters.
Riding a bike.
It's fine. Wear a helmet.
Stay
out of the street.
Risk is it a one? Is it actually
I think
10? 10 would be bad risk. 1 would be good risk.
Yeah, riding a bike's a 9. It's great to ride a bike.
Oh,
Do
so-
it in a safe area and wear a helmet.
So riding a bike would be a 2 because 1's a good risk. We're kind of reversed.
Okay, 10s are good. You get a 10 out of 10. That's good.
Okay, so we're
But you like 1.
well for risk
All our
assessment.
other ones have been 10 was the best. And now it's 1.
Well, yeah, we're reversing just in this case because
In this case,
highest risk.
You're the
highest
boss.
risk.
Okay.
A bike is
a 9. It's not a risk.
Okay, well, we'll go back to that. I'm not going to argue with
Oh,
you.
you think it's a 2 because it's good?
Yes.
Okay, it's a 2.
Riding a skateboard.
It's a 10. It's stupid.
Scooters for kids.
Unless you're like a kid going to the X Games, and that's what you're going to do to make sponsorship money.
Yeah.
Like you're out of your mind to be on a skateboard.
All right.
Like, it's enjoyable to be there socially with the kids. I'll give you that. Honestly, like you break something and you can't play baseball the rest of your life because you had to do a double flip off a guardrail. Like, hello, McFly.
So at Christmas this year, every kid in the neighborhood, and we have thousands of kids here, got one of those
The scooters.
battery operated, look like trail bikes. They're flying around here with no helmets. Good or bad?
Bad. It's like skiing. It's not going fast that's hard to do. It's stopping. And if you're wearing a helmet and you hit a tree at 30 miles an hour,
Right.
the helmet's happy there's a person underneath you because you're screwed. You don't want to take your most valuable asset and risk hitting a parked car, another car. People on motorcycles can't. Don't even ask me about motorcycles. So, if you want to just put your life in somebody else's hands or some other obstruction, then go for it. But it's like, that's not good parenting.
Climbing stairs.
It's mandatory in life. You have, unless you are
But
Japanese and there are no stairs.
But wouldn't that be a source of falling for elderly people? They think they can climb the stairs.
Well, I think they should use handrails. I think you always go up with your good leg, down with your bad. You should know how many steps you have to do. If you could sleep downstairs and avoid going upstairs, if you don't have to go to the basement for your laundry, don't do it. I would say avoid them unless you like to build your quad muscles. I like to take the step. I only have 2 rules at the hospital. I don't take elevators and I don't eat donuts. So that gets me exercise. I like steps. Steps keep me in shape.
What does that have to do with donuts?
Well, they have donuts at every meeting. And if you ate a donut at every meeting, you'd look like a whale. So I made a policy 40 years ago that I'm not going to ride elevators in hospitals. I'm going to take the steps. I like the steps. They give me exercise.
All right.
And I take them anywhere I can go, unless I'm at like the Statue of Liberty. So donuts are your own thing.
Shower or bath for somebody who's trying to avoid risk or falls?
Showers are way safer.
Way safer.
But older folks love baths. They love sitting in them. They're just not that safe. They're hard to get in and out of.
Yeah.
You need grab bars, and you can fall in a shower and drown or hit your head, and nobody's even know you're in there. It's no bueno. And you probably don't even have your little band around your neck at that point, so now you're hosed.
Walking.
Great.
Okay.
Number 1.
Number 1 is walking.
Ichiban. Ichiban means number 1. It's a beer.
You're learning something all the time.
3
with
things
this guy.
today for you.
Yeah, it's 3 things today for me. Have I left anything out? That might be a common thing people do.
I think the fall part is the key is prevention and common sense and not having too much pride that you wouldn't have help.
Yeah.
Hold a little old lady's hand when she's getting out of a restaurant. You don't know her, but she's not walking very well. Hold the door, take a minute and help her get to her car. I got all these people that are fat who have handicap parking stickers, and the ladies who are crippled are parking too far away because there's no open handicap parking things. So, I think we have a skewed view of how we look at exercise. Our exercise facilities in the United States have escalators and they have stairs in the rest of the world. So think about that. So I think we probably should do a little more to help people that need the help, do things for somebody. And I'll leave you with a Vince Lombardi quotation.
No. Go ahead.
Maybe it's John Wooden. It is John Wooden. It's not a great day to do something for somebody who can't pay you back.
It's not a great day if you don't.
Until you do something for someone who can't repay you.
Well, I think that's probably a pretty good idea.
Yeah. So be nice to people.
All right. So I'm going to grab a donut and take an escalator, and we're going to wrap
That's
up
the
this
way.
podcast.
And that's an American tradition right there.
Well, thanks for joining us today on this episode of the Bone and Joint Playbook with this guy right here, Dr. John Urse. We'll see you again in a couple of weeks.
One quick thanks to our sponsors, Ted's Authentic Greek Salad Dressing and GWR Financial Group. We appreciate their sponsorship. Make sure you like the Bone and Joint Playbook on our social media platforms. Like us on YouTube. Thanks to Tri-Level Recording and Terry O'Brien.
All right, guys. We'll see y'all again real soon. Bye.